All right, take my book too. Okay. Are you enjoying this?
This is just still your stuff. This is still the other unit, isn't it?
I'm going, babe.
Okay.
I'm not really good with this. Oh, I got to show you one thing. I'm sorry. I do want to show you this one. I got to show you this one slide. Many of you, for a long time, may have heard me talk a little bit about The Rock, right? And I'm just going to refresh this because I actually asked one of the top commercial artists in the world to do this for me because I wanted you to have a visual. This is a great story for you to talk that's a visual. Remember what Brian was talking about? Visuals are so much more important than just listening to it. Well, this is a great visual. And what I talk about is a person could be drowning in a lake, and they're up to their nose in water, and they're treading water, and they're going along, and they're about ready to die, right? They're going to drown, and they're going like this, but they got their rock, right? If they would just let go of their rock, they would explode to the top, right? So that's your job. Your job is to show them this, set to this, and you can do a little story and kid around and say about this nutty doctor that you're working with that basically talks about this. But if you are limiting, if you're looking down at what you don't want, you know, hasn't fumbled in 500 carries. Oh my goodness. 501, what's he do? Right. Doesn't work. You can't focus. That's why a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of the obesity, cognitive work, talking about recognizing what your problems are and going on, it doesn't work because if you're focused on getting rid of the stuff you don't want, what don't you do? You don't bring into your life what you do want, right? If you let go of your rock suddenly, and the thing is, you have your concepts. Go to the next slide because it kind of shows a graphic.
You got it, baby.
Oh, I got it. Okay. If you look at this, if you look at what you want, and you focus on getting healthy, if you focus on reaching optimal health, you focus on building your business, whatever it is you're focusing on, you will move forward and things will come into being that help you move forward. But if you focus down at your concepts, concept is, I could never lose weight, right? You hear that from people? I have big bones. Now, I can tell you that between the littlest human being and the biggest human being, there's about 3 pounds of bone weight. So what about the other 80 pounds, okay? So the point is, any old excuse will do, right? People didn't come here because they got a great excuse for you, right? They spent 3 hours making that excuse, so they'd have a really good one for you, right? The point is, they're focusing on the wrong things. What your job to do is to get people, hold this up here, hold up the mirror and say, we're going to, just like holding that board, right? Holding the board, come on, you're going through with this is what you want. Here you go, you're going to break through. The same thing here. You focus with your clients, you focus with your health coaches, you focus with your business coaches, and you focus with your leaders on taking people for where they are, holding that up there, helping them get here. And you know what? All those things, you know what? Look at great men. People go, God, I got to get perfect first before I can do this. Elizabeth isn't perfect first, is she? But she's building a heck of a business. She's about ready to go global director, okay? Whitney Kell needed to lose 3 pounds. Oh, I don't have a weight loss story, okay? What's that got to do with going presidential, right? Does that make sense? And so the whole point here is if you hold up what you want and focus on that, it will come into being. But if you focus on the wrong things, it's not going to. I got to tell you, the most important people in the world are all messed up. The best creators of all time, Van Gogh, earless, Read their biographies. These people had some serious issues, but it didn't put it in the way with what they wanted to create. And that's what I'm saying is anybody that wants to have more in their life, including you, by the way, focus on what you want. Forget it. We're all messed up. We all have 89 problems. Help them. In fact, when you know what? This is a news flash. We all have 89 problems. But there's some of us think we're the only ones with the 89 problems, right? Have you ever had someone that calls you up, your girlfriend or a friend, or calls you up at like 9 in the morning and says, God, I got up this morning, I had a run in my stocking, I spilt the milk, the dog had diarrhea, the car wasn't working right, I got to get my nails done today. Man, I just got 7 of their problems, now I got 96 problems. The point is, we all have problems. We're all going to have problems. The world is not perfect. We're not perfect. But you know what? Why not have a bunch of fun and go get the things you want while you're dealing with that stuff, right? So, anyway. All right. Sorry. See, without this thing, man, I'm pretty good. All right. Okay, honey.
All right. Well, we probably should
move
go
along
pretty quickly, right?
Yeah. Move along.
Really? Okay.
Move along.
I do have a workshop on, I'm just going to give myself a little
Yeah,
thing.
give yourself a little.
Kim so we don't get into a lot, if we have to skip a little things, it's, you can get it can get it later. Section 2, I love section 2. It's really getting into the nuts and bolts of getting going and doing your program properly. I love the way, if you don't have one yet, when you get it, I think you're really going to love it because it's set up. What's great, it sets up with the chapter assignment at the beginning of what they need to read. And then it goes into the goals of that lesson, what they're going to get out of this lesson. So they have a really great idea exactly what they're going to be doing. And then it starts the lesson. And what's great about this is that in the workbook, some of the things are just, they don't actually have fill in the blanks or lesson. They kind of go over, like this is a checklist for getting your kitchen ready before you get started. But there's also less things that they have to fill in, like their actual day. Because if you think about it, they have the Dr. A's Habits of Health. It's a book. A lot of people don't like to write in a book, plus there's no spaces for them to really do it there. And they may go to the website and print off the things, or they may not. And so what's nice about this workbook is it really puts them into action. So yeah, oh, I read the book. Well, now they got to read it and do the book. So I think it's going to make a big difference in some people that if they've read it, now they get this, they're going to have to read it again to be able to answer a lot of these questions and do a lot of these exercises in here. And also, it also gives the page of where to find the information. So if it's been a while since they read it, or if they're not sure where they find that information, they can get the correct answers by going to the page that's selected. So I think that's really great. The one thing also that Wayne said, I don't know if you realize, is that at the end of every section is a structural tension chart for that habit or that lesson for them to do and kind of get their whole thoughts in their mind set up. One of the first ones is the healthy weight. And this, I think, is very important for you to work through with them, either on the phone or if you have a support meeting, do it there. But that they really pick secondary choices that they need to do in order to reach their healthy weight. And then put a time limit on it. They may not reach the time limit, but if you don't put it down on paper, then it's just kind of out there in the ether. They need to put a time limit on their goals. And lesson 9 is eating for weight control. And it helps you understand 2 core principles of weight loss and the 9-inch plate. And when they go out to dinner, it will show them, it has exercises on which foods that they should choose and which foods they shouldn't. Yes, it's in the book, it's written there, but when you have to look it back up and write down the ones you actually want to choose, because it says which ones would you choose when you go out, it really sets it in their mind. So when they do go out, they'll remember that, hopefully, and choose much healthier choices, and then doing the right percentage.
Yeah, so what in essence this system is it allows them to have portion control in everything they eat. So 9-inch plate sets the total amount of food, and then the way I designed it was that 50%, most people have basically 3 things. The average American fare is what? Meat and potatoes, or fish and potatoes, and a vegetable. So what we want to do is make sure they fill 50% of their plate with fruits and vegetables, 25% with a high-quality protein, and the other 25% with a high-quality low glycemic carbohydrate. So we make it very easy for yourself and for others. Because remember, the meal replacements will always be a part of our life, and they're great portable food. But you're going to have to go out and eat food at restaurants and bring other foods in order to move forward and make sure you're getting all the whole healthy foods you want to. So now you have a system that you can teach your clients so that when they don't have access to a meal replacement or they're eating at a restaurant, that they know what they need to do. So go ahead.
So lesson 10 also goes into healthy eating for life. The goals are to understand we'll just go right through it. And you know what? You're going to do this one, total energy expenditure.
Okay. I'm not going to spend but a second. All this is written out. Basically, total energy expenditure. The thing people need to understand, when you lose 50 pounds, your metabolic rate, your total energy expenditure goes down. Why is that? You lost 50 pounds. You had, even though it was fat and doesn't consume as much energy, you've lost 50 pounds. So you need to understand, and that's why people yo-yo, is they lose the weight, then they go back to the way they were eating before, and now they have a lower metabolic rate because they lost that weight, and they're eating too many calories, and that's why they rebound and gain their weight back, and they usually gain back fat. So what we need to do is teach people is that, you know what, especially as you finish, we're going to add the habits of motion, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And then as we move forward, we need to know that they incrementally add their calories at a pace that makes sense.